Hi, my name is Jackie Couture, and today I'm going to be presenting an asynchronous lesson about using fractions on a number line. The activities, because they're asynchronous, are split up into different sections. So I will announce what part of the lesson I'm moving on to, although I wouldn't normally do this in a lesson, just because it's the condensed version. So let's begin. All right, everyone, thank you for joining me today. We are going to be talking about fractions and representing them on a number line. So we've used number lines many times before. We've used a lot of different models for fractions, and now we're going to be putting the two together. So our end in mind, we have two ends in mind, or two goals for this lesson. One, that you can show fractions on a number line, and two, that you can compare different fractions using the number line. So to begin, I would like you to pause the video and go to this Jamboard here. On the Jamboard, you are going to move the fraction on this Post-it to its place on the number line, wherever you think it would go. Then once you have this ready, go ahead and come back to the video and we will talk about it. So students pause and they come back. All right, so our first one is 1/2. Now, some of you may have put it right here. Maybe you put it over here because there's a 2 in it. Or maybe you placed it right in the middle. So when you think about 1/2, we need to think, how many parts is this? Well, there's a 2 in the denominator, so this is going to be 2 parts. So if 2 parts is up here, 1 out of 2 parts will be right in the middle. Remember, 1/2, 1/2, split in the middle. For the rest of these, again, we need to think about how many parts we're splitting this into. How many parts does it represent? 1/3 is 1 of 3 parts, so it would be somewhere around here. It should be less than 1/2. 1/3 is smaller than 1/2. We don't want it to be too close to the 0 or too close to 1/2 because we want to try to keep our sections as equal as possible, because remember, fractions are equal parts of a whole. Here, 1 represents a whole. So 3/4 here, we would split it into 4 parts. If you can imagine, 2 out of 4 would be right in the middle. So 3 out of 4 would be somewhere between 1/2 and 1. 8 out of 8, that one you should recognize. 8 out of 8 parts is the same as 1 or a whole. And 3 out of 6, right in the middle there, because 3 is half of 6, so it would be halfway on our number line. All right, so moving on. I want you to look at this question here. I drank 1/3 of my water bottle in the morning. I drank another 1/3 in the afternoon. How much did I drink? So let's think about this. We're gonna solve it together. I'm going to open the whiteboard and I will paste the question here again, just so that we have it nice and fresh in our minds. All right, so our first step here is we need to look at how many holes are we talking about here? Well, we're talking about 1 water bottle. It doesn't say anything about a second water bottle, so we will just have 1 hole. On our number line, if we're representing fractions, the whole is going to be the entire thing. So our whole equals 1. And if we have no parts, it would be a 0. So we're going to set it from 0 to 1 on our number line. Now we need to think, how many parts am I going to split this into? Well, let's take a look at our fractions that we see here. I drank 1/3 of my water bottle in the morning. I drank another 1/3 in the afternoon. So to know how many parts I'm going to split this into, remember, you need to look at the denominator to see how many equal parts. So here we have a 3 in the denominator. We're going to split this into 3 equal parts. And remember, we don't want our parts to look like this. 1, 2, 3. Those are not even. And if you have 3 equal parts, also remember that doesn't mean 3 lines, because our parts are the sections between the lines. So this would be 1, 2, 3, 4 parts, and they're definitely not equal. So I'm going to undo all of these steps and we'll try this again. 3 equal parts, I'm going to go about right here. Remember, it doesn't have to be perfect, but it should be about equal. And now I have my 3 equal parts. I'm going to label them. So we have 1/3 and another third, which would be 2/3. Then here at the end, our 1 is the same as 3/3. Our 0 is the same as 0/3. Those two you don't have to add, but if it helps you, it might be a good idea. All right, so we're going to draw with some arcs what this would really look like. So I drank 1/3 of my water bottle in the morning. All right, so I'm going to hop up 1/3. That's what I drank in the morning. Then I drank another 1/3 in the afternoon. Now, am I going to go from 0 to 1/3 again? Think about it. Would that make sense? If I have my entire water bottle and I drink 1/3 of it and I want to drink more, I'm not going to fill it up and drink it from the beginning again, right? I'm going to start here at this 1/3 already drank, and I'll drink another third. So we're adding our fractions, which means we're going to start at the 1/3 and go one more third. Now the question, how much did I drink? Well, I ended up at 2/3. So I drank 2/3 of my water bottle. Now for the next problem that we're going to do, we're going to add to this problem. So we know that I drank 2/3 of my water bottle. And we already arrived at that conclusion. The second part of the question says, my mom drank 2/8 of her water bottle. Who drank more water today? Now, if we look at just the question, before we even start using a model, we can see that I drank 2 parts of my whole. My mom drank 2 parts of her whole. So wouldn't that mean that we drank the same amount of water? Let's figure this out. We're going to demonstrate or show what my mom drank of her water bottle. So 2/8 means that she had her water bottle or her water split into 8 equal parts. So for 8 equal parts, I'm going to split it up the best that I can. There are a couple ways to do this. You can eyeball it. 4, 5, 6, 7, and we can see that these are obviously not equal. The last one is way too big. So from there, you can just move them around. That's the nice thing about using a digital resource. Or if you're doing this on paper, of course, you would just use pencil. All right, so these look almost equal. It's not perfect, but we get the idea, right? So here we have 8 equal parts, and I'm always going to label my parts. Here we have 1/8, 2/8, and I'm just going to continue and label all of the parts. And now we can see how much water did my mom really drink? Well, 2/8 is going to put her right here on our number line. Now, because we have our number lines, one on top of the other, in order for this to work, they need to be perfectly aligned. That way we can compare the values. So if we have 2/3, that would take up this whole thing, if I were to use this like as a bar. And 2/8 is going to go right until here. So in this case, which one is closer to the whole? Which one is more of the whole? Even though they're both 2 parts, the 2/8 is a much smaller part of the whole than 2/3. So here we can conclude that I drank more water out of my water bottle with my 2/3 than my mom. All right, to put this into practice, you will be doing some different activities from this choice board. So there are 3 different columns of activities. Each one gets a little bit harder and a little bit harder. So the first column is working with fractions, what we've already done, just as a refresher. Column 2 is placing the fractions on the number line, which is like the first activity we did, and comparing fractions, which is like the last problem that I just showed with my water bottle compared to my mom's. So what I would like you to do is choose at least one activity from each category. If you feel like you understand, it was easy for you, you get your answers correct, then you can move on to the next category. However, if you move on to the next one and it's kind of hard for you, or maybe you're struggling in one of the categories, I would like you to do more activities until you feel prepared. Then, when you're finished, the last thing you're going to do is this exit ticket. So you can go ahead and submit this in Google Classroom. It is this problem. Okay, so at this point, students would be working on their own, and I'm just going to show the closure of how I would explain the exit ticket very quickly. The exit ticket question is, I ate 3 pieces of a pizza. My brother ate half of the pizza. Who ate more? So to demonstrate this, I'm going to split my number line into 8 parts and show where what I ate of the pizza lies on the number line. So we have 1, 2, 3 out of 8 parts here. This would be what I ate. Then for what my brother ate, it says he ate half of the pizza. So now I'm going to split it in a different color into 2 equal parts. You can either do this on a separate number line or you can do it on the same one. For this example, I'm going to do it on the same one. So this is my 1/2 line. My brother ate 1/2 of the pizza, so I'm going to mark that right here. The question, who ate more? Who ate more? In this case, it would be my brother that ate more. Now, for the question of how many slices more, we need to think about how could we put these fractions with the same denominator so that we can really compare the values and how many pieces. So of this whole pizza, we can see that it's split into 8 pieces. Now, the 1/2 is also the 4/8 mark, if we were to count the 1/8 increments. So 3/8 is 1 section less than 4/8. So in this case, my brother ate 1 more piece of pizza than I did. That is the end of the lesson. In this case, I would use Google Classroom and these different resources to go through the examples and then also provide feedback and a question and answer session for additional practice so that I could confirm students' understanding and provide just additional instruction based on what I see in the assessments. Thank you very much.